Welcome back to Professor Wordsworth, where we peel back the layers of our language to reveal the stories hidden within our words. Today, we're going to examine a term that is synonymous with protest and social action, the word boycott. When we use it, we are describing a powerful act of non-cooperation, a collective refusal to engage with a person. What many people don't know is that this common word is a linguistic fossil of a very specific historical event, a word born from the name of a single man and the dramatic events that made him a pariah. Our story begins in the late 19th century in rural Ireland, a time of immense social and political upheaval. The Irish people were suffering under a system of land ownership that was deeply unjust. A small number of wealthy, often English landlords owned vast tracts of land, while the majority of the population were tenant farmers living in poverty. Many of these landlords were absentee, living in England and leaving the management of their estates to agents. This is where our central figure, Captain Charles Boycott, enters the scene. Captain Boycott was a retired English Army captain who had moved to County Mayo, Ireland, to work as a land agent for an absentee landlord, the Earl of Erne. He was in charge of managing thousands of acres of land and the numerous tenants who farmed it. By all accounts, Captain Boycott was a demanding and difficult man, a strict enforcer of the landlord's rules. His name would have faded into obscurity if not for the events of 1880, a year of bad harvests and mounting social tension. The Irish Land League, a political organization founded to advocate for land reform, was gaining immense influence. Its leader, Charles Stewart Parnell, was a charismatic and brilliant orator. The catalyst for our word came when Captain Boycott refused a reasonable request from his tenants for a 25% reduction in their rent during the poor harvest season. Not only did he refuse, but he also decided to evict 11 of his tenants who had been slow to pay their rent. This was the final straw. Charles Stewart Parnell, in a famous speech on September 19, 1880, proposed a new nonviolent form of protest. He asked the Irish people to deal with those who took the place of an evicted tenant by completely ostracizing them. He said, "You must show him on the roadside when you meet him, you must show him in the streets of the town, you must show him at the shop counter, you must show him in the fair and in the marketplace, as if he was a leper of old. Don't speak to them, don't trade with them, don't work for them. Simply make them an outcast." The Land League decided to use this new strategy against Captain Boycott himself. The campaign began almost immediately. On the morning that Captain Boycott went to serve the eviction notices, his laborers and servants all walked out and left him. His tenants refused to pay him rent. The local blacksmith refused to shoe his horse, and merchants refused to sell him food or goods. He found himself completely isolated. Postmen refused to deliver his mail. The entire community, from the lowest tenant to the local shopkeeper, simply refused to acknowledge his existence. It was a complete and total social and commercial shutdown. Captain Boycott was stunned. He was left with no one to harvest his crops, milk his cows, or perform any of the daily tasks necessary to run his estate. The entire operation became a massive and costly spectacle that drew national and international attention. The press seized on the story, and the event became a symbol of this new, powerful form of protest. Journalists in Dublin were looking for a shorthand term to describe this specific tactic, this act of collective social and economic isolation. According to most historical accounts, the term was coined in a report by the Freeman's Journal in Dublin in late October 1880, with a journalist suggesting that they should boycott a person as they had done to the captain. The word spread like wildfire through newspapers across Ireland and then into Britain and beyond. Within a few months it was being used in articles in the Times of London and was entering the vocabulary of the English-speaking world. By 1888, the word boycott was formally entered into the Oxford English Dictionary, a testament to its rapid and successful adoption. The word's journey is a fantastic example of an eponym, a word derived from a person's name. But it's also more than that. It's a testament to the power of a specific, well-documented historical event to forge new language. It is no longer just about refusing to deal with a land agent in Ireland. A boycott is now a generalized term for a form of nonviolent protest in which consumers, workers, or a populace refuse to have commercial or social dealings with a company, organization, or government. Throughout the 20th and 21st centuries, the boycott has become a key tool in social and political movements. The Montgomery bus boycott of the 1950s, for example, saw the African American community in Montgomery, Alabama, refuse to ride city buses for over a year to protest racial segregation. It was a powerful act of civil disobedience that had a huge economic impact and ultimately led to a landmark Supreme Court decision. The word has evolved from a specific, targeted action against one man to a universal term for a form of peaceful resistance. So, the next time you hear about a boycott, remember Captain Charles Boycott, the man who, through his own actions, had a word created in his name. It is a word that encapsulates a collective refusal to cooperate, a quiet but powerful form of protest that can bring even the most powerful institutions to a standstill. The story of Boycott is a beautiful example of how language is shaped not just by poets and scholars, but by the social and political struggles of ordinary people, and how a word can carry the weight of history in its very sound.